Well, we're back. Day 2. We made it. Alhamdulillah. I'm recording this at 9:51 at night. I wish. So, already off the bat, right? I'm glad that a day 2 is happening. I don't know how long I'm going to talk for. I think I'm going to limit myself to like at least this video being like top 10 minutes. Because, I mean, how long should I really make? Actually, I don't need to limit myself. I'll just talk until I feel sufficed, I guess is the word. To an extent. But yeah, reflecting back, had a good W day. Um, Shout out all my dogs, but alhamdulillah today something amazing happened. I had a red velvet 7-Eleven cookie, and I want to hop on here just for a little bit to talk about it before I dive into anything else of this 30-day challenge. First of all, day 2, this is looking good, looking strong. Inshallah, all is well. I can hear myself talking in the background of this video. Damn. Or dang, I mean, damn. Or not saying damn. Damn. uh, but okay, so this red velvet 7-Eleven cookie, right? Because everyone knows crumble. It's iconic. It's got all this stuff. Whatever, right? I'm not saying crumble's bad. I'm just saying it's a little over. It's if you're one for soft cookies, I feel like they're not firm enough. Sometimes they feel more like cake than cookies. They're kind of huge, and sometimes they just always feel and taste undercooked to an extent. I don't know if you guys ever had Crave or any other cookie brand, but Crumble, the way they go about it is just giant. They're in the case that they're giant. At the same time, they feel less cooked and they feel softer and less firm. I don't know if you guys had that Goy Slop level Publix cookies. Those are good. I mean, they're firm. I don't know how much of them I could eat. Like I tell myself I could eat a lot, but I don't know how I feel after, right? Um, where are we? So yeah, so this red velvet 7-Eleven cookie, right? If you guys are ever nearby or bored or they're there and you're there by chance, luckily shout out Jidal, you got one. Actually, for today, actual goat. They're 139. Excuse me, for 2 cookies, and I think this might be my favorite cookie of all time. I gotta lock in and look again because Biscoff is up there, but the way the cookie's made up of, it's normal red velvet cookie, right? And red velvet, although it feels like like a chocolate cookie with just red dye, I don't, if it isn't, I'm not gonna let myself learn it for now because I kind of like the mystery of it being its own flavor. I like it, but all right. The depth in the cookie is like, you got chocolate chips, default, right? That's a classic. You have these bigger fudge pieces, which is foreshadowing for what I'll tell you later. But these white chocolate chips that just are the cherry on top, right? If that's the cherry on top, what's the actual goods of this red velvet cookie other than it being a red velvet cookie, right? You bite into that thing, I kid you not, it will melt in your mouth to an extent. Obviously, it's a firmer, like stronger cookie, and I love it for that. And inside, when you bite into it, there's bigger chunks of chocolate. And when you bite into these bigger chunks of chocolate, plus the cookie dough itself is really good. It's this blend of flavors in your mouth. Not only that, because it's such a 3 grams of protein. Don't worry about that. Or 2, I forget. Some silly. Or was it 6? I forget which. Around there. Um, get this. It melts as you bite it. You can unbite it. I think it's from the heat of your mouth, but it genuinely melts the chocolate to such an extent where everything is just a beautiful flurry in your mouth. It's amazing. So if any of you guys are bored, I just ranted for about 4 minutes about that red velvet cookie because I do think it's pretty important and nice. If you made it this far, I'm kind of impressed because either you know me and you're like, what's Sean up to next for his little challenge and talking to himself in his room, or 2, you're like, who's this chud? Why am I still listening? And I just skipped through this. And why is he talking about red velvet 7-Eleven cookies? Just try it. Just try it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Say I'm overrating. Say I'm not. Alhamdulillah, it's a great cookie. Now, after I talked about that cookie, I feel like that was a little about me being authentic, right? And that's something I guess I'll talk about here. Is something I struggled with personally and still struggle with a bit, which I want to look into. If anyone got help, toss it at me. I'm all ears. But I'd say it's a case of, I think it's imposter syndrome. I don't want to obviously go and just give things names when I don't know exactly what it is, but it's that feeling that you're always lying, or like that feeling of when you do something, it feels so intentional. You're almost like, am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I talking through this? Am I talking through that? It's your own thought process kind of fighting against yourself. And the thing that sucks so much about it is in the moments you do want to be genuine. It always feels like a self-betrayal in the littlest things, like helping someone out. It doesn't feel like you because I said the same line when I think I mentioned this too, of me being this quote unquote liar in the New Year's video. But if you haven't seen that, that was such a, I think lying is such a thing that we should all drop. I mean, there's obviously extents to it, and when you need to and you not. Like I kind of read a little bit about it, but I'm larping just a little. I didn't read as much as I seem like. That was a lot of words. I'm sorry. But straight up lying can be convenient sometimes. Lying isn't always lying. There's versions, right? At the end of the day, what is scraping at your identity? Because I feel like identity to an extent is kind of important. Because the way we are now, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's with friends, whether it's with family, whether it's with yourself, when you become so performative or so, up to expectations, it starts to mess with your head. And I'm using this YouTube as like a little bit of a journaling as almost, but I hope someone can take something of value from this, or they're just bored and listening and watching gameplay in the background, maybe perchance. um but the way this is going, I don't know, I heard myself scream, I'm sorry. But with family, with friends, with significant others, if that applies to you, what else is up there, yourself, I feel as if identity's not talked about enough and important, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what I am or who I am exactly either, and I think that's part of the fact is like you're just figuring out characteristics of yourself, how does it apply? Because if you figure out inwards, you figure out the outwards. Because you feel so foggy all the time, or if you feel foggy all the time in life and unclear of what and why and purpose and this and that, I promise you, there's a lot of knots in yourself, in your heart, in your brain that you do not know that you've been avoiding, and that also comes through distraction, and that's not even your fault. To an extent, obviously, if you're aware of it, it's the guilt starts to trip up on you for being so avoidant of your just own problems. Buzzword. It's TikTok. It's the games. It's the constant music whenever there's silence. It's the never sitting outside. Like, there always has to be something, right? To an extent, I get keeping your day busy, but that doesn't mean making the time you have when you are free to sit outside and be in the sun a little, or think a little, or times like that, or talk a little with someone, be busied up with all these different activities. Like, I need a YouTube video in the background, I need to scroll a little bit. You're at a bus stop, TikTok just for a second. You're telling me you could go TikTok for a second and like turn into a zombie of entertainment? It's nice, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I love doom scrolling. Unfortunately, it's fun. Like, I love just sitting there, brain mush, like it's like my own version of like those old people where they're like you know rolling for all cherries or all sevens at a casino with their hand on the actual like machine itself, and they're like, oh, that's how I feel doom scrolling. Oh, this banger repost, oh, this post, oh, this edit, oh, this one's funny, oh, let me send this to this guy, right? It's a reflection of myself, of all the things I like or interested in. Obviously I'm gonna be hooked, and that's what the algorithm keeps you. When you're so I got too specific there, but when you just have your own little nuances and distractions, you don't get time to figure out. And I'm not even gonna finish that sentence, I just mean figure out. Do something like this if you want, like just talk to nobody, talk to the air, talk to yourself. And a lot of times when you journal, when you do this, when you look inward, you end up finding a resolution by your own means. Because a lot of the times, I mean, take it in like this, right? If you want to figure out life and your path and everything, you are quite literally seeing everything through your own eyes, right? Figure out the colors you see. Figure out why you see them this way. Figure out how you feel about these colors. Figure out the sounds you hear. Figure out what sounds you like. Figure out why you do. And the more you do this and you figure out why you react to things, then you figure out what you think about things. And I'm not saying go that deep, but I'm saying if you take it in that way and you compare it to sight, which is everything you see in life, if you figure out why you see things a certain way or how you feel about the things you see, you figure out the things you see itself, face front, and then from that point on, intention and meaning is your choice. So we have so little and so much power at the same time. It's kind of crazy. I'm not talking like I had any epitome. I'm low-key yapping about something I'm sure we've all figured out at some point to an extent. But my little specific would be do not lie to yourself to whatever extent. Like there is benefits. There is that proper delusion. There's faith, which is good, because it can benefit you in the right things. Having faith in the wrong things or being attached to the wrong things are anchors that you don't know you're putting in your life. But having faith in the right things, things that are infinite, things that are that you can follow and seek and have goodness happen on the path on the way there. Like the means are good just as the ends, not just the ends, and the means is and it gives you a proper good path. If you're scared of your own being yourself by yourself, you will be scared to be seen by another person, by connection. And we are social animals. I think for everything in life, the root of it is, well, for social interaction or people, of course, is that level of communication and sight. Sight doesn't mean to be seen, you know? This is a crazy callback, but in One Piece, there's this guy, I forget his name, forgive me, but he's blind. He's a Navy admiral, or no, he's not admiral level, but he's in the Navy, right? And if you don't know One Piece, there's the pirates and there's the Navy. Oh my god, I'm such a chud. I meant Marines. I was thinking about colors. Okay, sorry. We're still a little sidetracked. If you can't tell, I'm geeked out of my mind. If you guys think I'm a LARPer, I'm not. I read it all. I promise. Well, I'm just not caught up anymore, and it's been a year and a half. Okay, I am LARPing just a little bit. But listen, right? Marines, pirates, in One Piece, it's cool because it's so morally heart pulling, right? Because there's certain characters you agree with. There's a lot of gray areas, and it adds a sense of realism because it's like real life where it isn't something where all good or all bad. Because it's hard to find that, you know. Because usually there's a justification. Like you take Epstein. Oh my days, that guy is evil. He's kind of the essence of pure evil. Like if you hear even the depths of what he's done, yeah, there's not really, you don't want to reason with that to an extent, because too much empathy, too much reason is self-sabotage. And the fact you're able to empathize with someone so corrupt, you're kind of letting, if you're letting yourself understand that, you're letting yourself, like, you know that quote where it's like, by the way, I don't know if this applies, I'm pulling this out my butt, you're listening to, I was about to dox my age, but you're listening to jit that doesn't matter yap, okay? But it's like you gaze into the abyss and the abyss gazes back at you. Times like that, you do not want to gaze at the abyss. At that same time, damn, where was I? Oh, so like it's cool with the Marines and pirates, right? In One Piece, because they're all different morally. And so you take Luffy, for example, which is the main character of One Piece. He's all about this idealistic freedom. It's a different freedom too. It's a freedom of joy and fun and detachment, and it's honestly it's freeing, and well, it's freedom, yeah, but he's the warrior of liberation. I'm not gonna spoil too much for those who don't know or do know, but just take that for concept, right? He's all about joy. He's just a smile on his face always, laughing always, like he is the joyous boy. Oh, see what I did there, right? Now we take this admiral or this guy from the Marines, and he's blind, and he's obviously fighting for the sake of Marines because pirates are supposedly bad, and there are bad pirates as well, but by that same means there are bad Marines. Bad is very subjective, but within the show it differs. Luffy isn't objectively a bad person, like he isn't. If you take in for his morals and what he stands for, neither is this blind guy, and he's blind, and he's never really complained about it. He's a great fighter. And it's a beautiful thing because he's blind. And after he witnesses and feels the joy that Luffy puts upon the people and the places he liberates, he goes, I wish I could see your face. This one time, I wish I wasn't blind. What's the color of your hair? How does your smile look? Oh my God, right? So jumping back to my point before, if you're wondering why I got so distracted, is that I think being seen is part of, being human to that extent, is all that thought in yourself. And I don't even mean for you to be seen by another person, but I mean by yourself. And you're asking, why is this important for anything in the world? There's so much going on. Why does this matter? This is integral. I don't know the word, but it's very pivotal for yourself. Because if you're moving as this autopilot conforming piece, you are a piece of Play-Doh, Jello, hello, just freaking wobbling around, right? Without the identity, it can work, but you just start to lose yourself if that was ever a thing. And the thing, humans are unique. We have our fingerprints. We have our faces with completely differences. There's one more thing that's completely unique. I just forget what it is for everyone. Is it our tongues? Is that weird? No, I think it's something like that. Maybe it's our retinas. Anywho, it's your identity is rooted in everything because you see everything through yourself. So if you figure out yourself, you can at least get a grasp on what everything's going on around you, whether it's career, whether it's life, whether it's religion. That's a good start. In my opinion, that's a good start. And when you need to revert to the basics because you haven't figured this out naturally growing up, because for example, for me, I got so used to lying to myself or lying to other people, conforming to needs. There's times where that's okay, but empathizing without boundaries is self-sabotage, as I said before, and to the extent of trying to, oh, walk on eggshells. Sorry, I don't want you to be mad. Oh, I'm gonna lie about this thing. Bro, that's bad. Because one, morally, you're just lying for when you shouldn't. Like, there's like step people please like, do they cheat to make me look fat? I haven't been in the scenario, but like, supposedly you're supposed to say like no, even if it does. But like, that's a whole thing. But like, for example, I don't think that's horrible to say no. Wow, I sound like such a douche right now. Okay, maybe not a good example. But again, just this false speech isn't speech at all, because where's the weight behind your words, you know? You get to choose what to believe and what not to believe. I have been insulted recently, right? I heard word about me and I laughed. And when this person told me, they're like, so is it true that you are blank? I cackled. And then they're like, so you're laughing because it's true. I said, I'm laughing because if someone insulted me, and I've said this example with so many people so many times, but it helps them detach. The reason insults hurt sometimes is because they resonate, you know, because they have correlation. And I think that's what people try to do in the first place, which connects to your identity. If you're rigid in what you are and who you are, you can even protect yourself from external things like such. For example, if someone, let's just say in this example, that thing I cackled at is from word to mouth, someone said I had blue eyes. And they hate my blue eyes. They're weird. Blue eyes are cool. Any blue eyes viewers watching? Kind of tough. No hate. No matter how much people slander, blue's kind of cool, and you can see your pupils. I just have giant black eyes, right? Little beads, so to speak. So, behind, the ojos aside. Ooh, that was tough. Ooh. All right. Anywho, right. So, where was I? Oh yeah. If I get insulted for my blue eyes, I know I don't have blue eyes. I'm just like, okay. Obviously, there's a level of annoyance with it, right? Like, there's mosquito level stuff of like, oh, it's just constantly bothering you. Cool. You have a right to be mad at that. But if you're mad at the substance of what's being said, then you're conforming to an expectation they put upon you. What's it called? I believe he has these eyes, and he believes he has these eyes. This is why this insult will resonate. No. So when I heard this, I cackled. Because I was, at this point, I knew what I was. I wasn't conforming anymore. And I look back in the past of truth. And if you don't lie to yourself, you could clear these things up. And I promise you, clarity is such a gift in everything. In video games and freaking religion. I don't know why I said video game first thing. And just life. Speaking with clarity too. This isn't the Avatar, and I'm such a LARPer because I haven't seen any no, I think I have seen Avatar. Shout out Red One. That's my dog. That's my brother. Since I was legit, he would play it in his car. I low-key was not conscious, so I have zero clue. But what I do remember from this one little thing from a video I watched is there's a connection that the Avatar people have, the blue people, not Aang, that's my dog, that they can connect their hair-ish. I don't know if this is a reproduction type of thing, so watch out. But it would tangle. They would be able to understand each other and thoughts and feelings just like that. Just like that. Us as humans, we don't have that. We have communication. We have realization. We have comprehension. We don't have that sense of like euphoric, just pure synergy almost of let me feel what you're feeling. Okay, maybe synergy is not the word. But being able to emulate someone else's feeling. Maybe that's the word. So, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but all I'm saying is for anyone out there and you feel like you're LARPing your own life and you're on autopilot, whether it's distractions messing you up, whether you're lying to yourself like I was for almost a year, like 9 months, 10 months, no matter, it can mess with you. Growing up too, being a people pleaser. Just take a second, look at yourself. If any of these words are hitting a little bit, they have a little meaning. Figure out why they resonate. Figuring out why to certain things is very important to like everything. I'm figuring not really out the why at the moment, but I'm like conscious of the way I move now. When I walk, I can feel the way my feet feel on the ground and the way I contract these muscles or act this way. It's stupid. I'm not saying that relates to anything, but like the brain's so cool. We have so much we could do than just chud out, right? Because if you're wondering what chud means, I can explain what that means. Or void. And void. Like this brain could be used for brain rot, or it could be used for like engaging. And when you start to appreciate, it's sad to say, but romanticize these things, you start to gain a connection with your life that you might have missed before, that you might have not had. And in doing so, your self-image starts to improve. Who are you when no one's watching? Because I've talked, and I've been in the position too, where you start to think of things so intentionally. Like right now, I have little nuances. I've said nuances multiple times, but little nuances, mannerisms, stuff like that. Because I don't, as much as I try and talk fast and not think it through, so I don't put an expectation on myself for who's listening to this, subconsciously, I can't stop that. And it's going to be a little biased. I'll talk to this person in this way, and I'll talk to this person in this way. There's an extent of that to where it tears you completely, where you are different people. So who are you when no one's watching is what I also think is very important. Because if you find yourself cringing or acting a certain way, like with people or by yourself, think about why real quick. Why am I cringing? And take cringe, for example. What is it? To cringe is kind of based off social expectation in oneself, right? For example, I cringe. If I had to cringe at someone like fully, it's what's a good example? What's a good one? I don't know. Wait, do I just not cringe at anything? That's bad. Okay. I just don't want to call anyone out. If I were to cringe at something, right, just genuinely, and this is for me speaking, maybe because I'm not tapped in, but maybe the thing I would genuinely cringe at would be no, that's weird. I can't say that. Weird interests people have sometimes, and I have weird interests myself. But for example, if it was animals, if someone liked animals to an extent that's beyond just animals, I would be a little off about it. Cause like, those are animals, dog. Like, yeah, furries. You guys mind your own business, right? That's cool. Sometimes it gets weird, and that cringes me out. That makes my calves like just tweak. Cringe would also be when people would act certain way. Like, just take that for example, right? Someone doing a certain accent. Like, I don't even want to think of I'll talk about myself in 2020, right? The old trends. I cringe at that. Why do I cringe at that? I didn't cringe at it in 2020. And you think about it, cringe is this social expectation to an extent of where you place yourself and how you end up reacting to something. In that, we're back. Am I recording? Are we back? We are back, right? Okay, we are back. So to finish that up, where was I about the cringe? Yeah, it's just, and then people will cringe at me at a different level, who's above me. Like if you take, I don't know, the average person from Mikio, and they watch my stuff, or hear my stuff, or just hear me at all, they'll cringe at that, and that's okay. And it just shows you there's levels to TS, and it's like, if you find yourself conforming to things when you're on your own too, you are suffocating yourself in ways you don't know. You can figure yourself out first before you figure out the mold you want to shape yourself into, right? Because there is certain things you'll maybe need to shave off a little bit, right? Say I want to go into the medical field. I can't go into the medical field and talk about the red velvet 7-Eleven cookie the whole entire freaking time, dude. So, there's this fear behind being vulnerable and trying to figure that out. But inshallah, that's what I'm trying to, and hopefully that's the rest of this journey and video. I hope something I said helped you. I do think I'm gonna head out for the timing, but maybe that worked. Maybe I'll pick up where I left off. Maybe I won't. Let me know how you guys feel. Barbecue bacon burger. Let me know, and inshallah all is well. That's day 2. I don't really know where I was going with that like at all, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I keep saying that, but I do really hope that someone got to this point. And if you have, that's that. But excuse me, but I don't have an outro, do I? I could do this though.